broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey. Awesome! We are gonna start you off just a little bit of that that intro music. Just give it a go.
It's sassy.
It sounds so like epic, you know? It's setting us up here.
It does. So, hey guys, welcome to the Shannara. I'm gonna say this so many times tonight. To the Shannara Chronicles after show. Please follow us on AFTERBUZZ TV and all over social media. We can't wait to talk about this amazing new MTV show from the masterminds of Al Gough and Miles Millar, who are the same guys from Into the Badlands, just so you know. With me tonight, I have my beautiful co-host. Introduce yourselves, and then I'll give it a go for myself.
Hello, my name is Karie Lane. You can find me on Twitter at Karie D. Lane.
And I'm Heather Gardner. You can find me Twitter and Instagram at HeatherGTV.
And I am your lead host, Maria Cavassuto, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at MGCVSST. All right, guys, so let's get started. I want to know, first of all, your first impressions here, because this was a pretty epic 2-hour opener, gotta say.
I liked it. It was fun.
Yeah, it was definitely fun, different. I feel like going in, I thought it was gonna be a little more like old world, but it's not. It's totally set in the future, which I did not know, so that was unexpected for me, but I liked it. I did.
Totally.
I mean, it's not like epic Lord of the Rings. It's more like Lord of the Rings for young adults. And so you get all that action and adventure, but maybe, a little more playful.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Like Lord of the Rings meets MTV, which is kind of, I think, what they were going for.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was definitely very cool. Again, I thought it was going to be kind of old world too, just having read briefly some of the Terry Brooks, because this is actually based off of the second book, the Elfstones of Shannara. So just... yeah, I thought it was going to be a little more old world, but I was excited about the modern twist, kind of like the modern-y twist.
The first scene, I was just like, wait a second, they're in jeans? Or whatever they were wearing, those tight pants. I was like, oh, okay. And then I had to go back and actually read, that it sets place in the future.
Yeah,
I like seeing the Seattle, the tower, and I was like, oh, well, so it's fantasy post-apocalyptic future?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
And they mentioned they're like the old humans.
Yeah. And at one point, we see like a helicopter at some point on the ground, totally like covered in moss, and he's like, "What do you think? What do you think about this?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, so that's the kind of world that we're in."
Yes.
I like it.
Let me just ask you guys if you saw this. Did you see her dress? Did you see Amberleigh's dress when she comes into the celebration? That was quite a dress.
I was more distracted by the hair. I couldn't get over
that
the
headpiece
hair.
thing?
Yeah.
No, that dress
it.
was hot when she goes down the stairs and it's like backless. You're like,
and everybody is like staring.
She's
the only girl there.
Well, I mean, she absolutely killed it right there.
Yeah.
But let's get into a little bit of the world, obviously. So again, it's kind of like a little bit futuristic-y and post-apocalyptic. But let's start with our characters. The first person that we see is Amberleigh, who we learn is an elven princess.
And badass chick.
yeah,
So badass chick. I'm very happy with the girl power.
shows up to the chosen race, and she's like, Psh,
what?
Of course I can do this. Whereas in the rules, like girls can't do it. I mean, that was a little heavy-handed a line, but I kind of liked it at the same time. It's like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I love it when we have girl power on the shows.
Absolutely.
Especially when they're trying to, she starts saying they're like, I'm breaking elven tradition, and I'm like, you go, girl, you break that tradition.
I just love when all the dudes at first were like, what's up, hot stuff? And then it's like, I'm competing. And then they go, oh no, we're not going to even talk. We're not going to talk to you anymore. And you're like, whoa, come on. It'd be like, come on, good competition if you think you can lose to the girl.
I mean, they're all so proper with the women, and then the second the horn goes, it's like, bam, done. You're one of the boys now.
That was super surprising.
She doesn't need special treatment.
No.
And they totally wanted to knock her out, which actually proves that she totally was a threat.
Absolutely.
But she can hold her own. I gotta say. She totally knocked one of the competitors of the gauntlet down. So that was kind of cool to see. And she ends up making the 7th position of the Chosen. Woohoo! So what gets interesting after that is that she really has kind of like a special connection with what I would consider another character in this series, which is the Elcrease, right? So it's that big silver tree with the like crimson leaves, and she has a very specific relationship, and it's kind of interesting the way they do this with all these visions that she's having as soon as she touches a tree, right? And it's great that they can like foreshadow a little bit what we're gonna see.
I like that they give you more into it, because at first you're just like, okay, she gets visions. Okay, why is she special? But then they kind of start answering those questions quickly, because you don't want to sit there for like the half the season going, okay, why her? What's going on? So I appreciated that in the first episode. They're like, okay, well, here's this little clue, and then like it spiraled from there.
Yeah, and they kind of build upon that. But I find what's so interesting is that she actually thinks that the reason all this is happening is because she broke the tradition or she broke the rules. And I'm like, no, girl, that is so not it. But it was it's just interesting to see how she thought it was just like all her fault, you know, and she decides to leave.
No, I totally was like, why do you think it's your fault? Like that was like the I'm like, why? What did you? Why is that the automatic response? Oh, bad stuff is happening because I broke the rules. It's like, maybe it's just happening because other stuff's happening.
Yeah.
Well, not just you.
I love how her, like, love interest, Lauren, that was his name, right? Yeah. Which, coincidentally, that's my husband's name. So I was, like, cracking up at that all the time. I was like, Lauren? So, anyway, I love how he kind of goes to the tree and tries to get the visions, too, and he obviously can't. So.
That, you know, I was a little sad. I'm just like, no, boy, you ain't special here.
You're not the chosen one.
Did either of you felt like at first when he's having that conversation with her, I'm like, I kind of feel like he's a bad guy, but then he's obviously not really. But I had a couple moments where it's like, he's creepy. He's really
like
cute.
Oh, he's
I
so
liked
cute.
him. But there was like a conversation they had where you're just like, I don't know if I should trust you. And then it's like, oh, just kidding.
Really?
Well,
I didn't get that vibe at all. I
Okay.
totally thought he was like harmless.
I mean, in the beginning, like right from the beginning when she shows up and he's like, you're here to cheer me on, that's so sweet, I love you, we're gonna get married, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, he was just so sweet from the very beginning. Yeah. So supportive and the whole time.
Yeah. He seemed to really like her, which is kind of, I was like, well, she doesn't really like you, dude. But
it's
okay.
That
away.
line was like,
they set that up.
Yeah.
But I kind of like that, you know, that it's a girl storyline where the girl's like, well, I'm not actually as into you as you are into me. Because normally it's always the girl that's like, I love you, Mr. Man, and I'm gonna like be with you forever. But now it's a girl who's like,
but no.
Actually, you're just kind of my play toy.
Yeah, you're just kind of my play toy, and I mean, I'm just kind of stringing you along, but don't want to, but kind of have to. I don't really know what to do. We're gonna spend a whole year together, so what do I do now? Which great line that Ander brings up, which is her uncle, right? And he's like, well, you're kind of got to tell him now, otherwise it's gonna be really awkward.
That's her uncle is hot. Can we say that?
By the way,
her uncle.
I think you know.
I think the whole cast.
Carrie likes all the guys on the show. She thinks that they're super cute.
Well, they are super cute.
Everyone's pretty darn good looking.
I mean, we're watching MTV, so like we're gonna have this like beautiful cast of people.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be definitely eye candy.
Yes.
You know, so that's nice.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
I'm okay with that. An hour a week of eye candy. Okay.
I also like that most of the men got shirtless pretty quickly, and no ladies had their shirts off. You know, no lady. I mean, she had backless.
Not at first.
Yeah, she had backless and like low cut, but like men, it's like, here we go. It's like, all right, now we get a little bit of eye candy for the ladies.
It's for the ladies.
And dudes.
What up?
Oh, dude, there could be dudes who appreciate that as well.
No, of course.
Yeah.
As a lady, I was watching, and I'm like, thank you very much. But then, so she's great. So we have Amberleigh, you know, she's definitely faced with this really insane kind of storyline where it's like, do I stay? Do I go? I gotta leave. I just, you know, fudged everything up, and the only way I know how to fix this is leaving.
Well, I don't understand why she didn't go to her grandfather, the king of the elves. I mean, wouldn't she think that her elder would kind of know what's happening? Because he was explaining the whole storyline, explaining, you know, the whole history of the tree and the myths that were really true. I feel like that should have been her first stop before she fled away.
At least she could have asked a subtle question.
Right.
Be like, so visions, is this a thing?
Anybody
is this part of the chosen?
So
you know, anybody?
She kind of toys a little bit with that by talking to Lauren and being like, hey, do you believe in this whole thing about the Elcrease? And it's like, I mean, so far it's kind of like folklore, and I think it's, you know, not everybody believes it. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, even maybe saying that is like already putting her into like a crazy box. So, I mean, does she really want to risk that? Does she think like, okay, well, maybe if I just disappear, this disappears too?
Yeah.
And she's the first woman to ever do it. Maybe they think she's crazy.
That too.
Or,
Yeah, you know,
Sure.
True, because I mean, that's definitely a risk that she's taking by running the gauntlet in the first place. But, well, so we have her kind of, she starts to leave. So then, it's like, and bye. So we're going to move on just briefly, I guess, to our other, like, kind of main character. So Will.
Oh, wow.
Our Vanessa Hudgens' boyfriend, Will.
Really?
Austin Butler. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Our comedic relief Will.
Our comedic relief Will, who is so
clueless.
But
I do like his humor
Yeah,
though, because at
me
first
too.
I was like, I think this guy's comedic relief. No, yes, this guy, yeah, he definitely is. But it's actually funny most
But
of
it's
the time.
also like the main character as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's revealed right off the bat.
But you know, it's the standard like I'm the newbie, I don't know anything, so I'm gonna jump into this crazy world. So I mean, yes, he's gonna be naive, but at least they take it with like humor.
Yeah, they totally do, and it's kind of interesting. He's the only like comic relief that, at least in my opinion,
true.
But he's really he's naive, and I find it so funny that he starts like kind of trusting people just kind of right away.
I just met you. You're my best
just
friend.
like I met you. I'm gonna tell you all about these elf stones. So like so his mom.
Oh yeah, right. These are magical. What was it? His uncle, grandfather. Someone tried to tell bury these, and I'm just gonna show them off to the first random person I see.
Yeah, no biggie. Just
and
here you go.
get into a tub for this random person as well.
Well,
Because that's what you do.
this is an elven show, and it is MTV. So what do you expect?
There's gonna be naked, sweaty goodness, I guess.
In tubs.
Yes, in tubs.
Random tubs in the middle of forests.
Yeah, in the woodsy house that does not belong to.
Where were those old people, by the way?
I think she killed him.
I would imagine.
Maybe. I don't know. So rovers, are they like another people? I was wondering that too. What do you guys think?
You know, I think it's kind of divided. Like humans, I know, according to like what I know from just this world, is that they're subdivided into like humans, gnomes, trolls, and one other
Elves?
thing. No, elves. There's like so much backstory that comes with like these books.
is. Yeah.
But at some point, it's like elves and humans have gotten so similar because elves lost all their magic. I mean,
Yeah.
but no, it's like they're subdivided. It's like trolls, gnomes, and one
Well, I
other
felt
thing.
it was more
dwarves,
like
dwarves. Okay,
There you go. Rover is like another term for rogue kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it's kinda
they're
like
just a
this-
group of people.
They're the scavenger. It's like a ranger, you know. They kind of like the Eritrea says she's just like you know, I do it to survive.
Yeah.
Which brings us to her as well. Another girl power in there. That is, I thought she was super cool. I don't know if you guys recognize her,
Trixie? No.
but from Pan's Labyrinth, she's like
yes,
the young
I know.
girl.
I'm like, she's all grown up. I looked
Yeah.
at the pictures and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, so she definitely has some experience with the fantasy type genre.
I like it.
But the fantasy kind of like still into the realism line, I guess.
Yeah.
But she is just badass.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
loved her outfit and her hair was so cool. I love the like side braids and the dread stuff coming down.
And I think what you would expect from a wandering woman in the forest.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
I don't know why, but I always have a thing watching like action-y things where girls have their hair in their face and it just drives me nuts. So I liked on this that she has half her hair back and then our princess has this like thing up the center. So I'm like, okay, thank you. While you're fighting, your hair is not in your face.
Yeah, I would have all sorts of this going on. It was just be such a mess.
That's what braids are
But can
for.
anyone find a hair tie? Seriously.
yeah.
Apparently they don't exist.
Not in future worlds.
Not in future worlds. We have to find out other ways to do it. But so she comes across Will because a troll attacked him, right? And it's kind of interesting that one of the first things that you can see that there's this kind of tension between humans and elves, you know, and it's very apparent because she picks up his hair and looks at his ears, even though they're smaller.
She does that to the princess too. It's like you meet people and you're like, here, let me touch your hair.
Like, can I identify who you are by like lifting up your hair?
It should be like Lord of the Rings, where they just have
bubble.
like a glow. Isn't that what they have?
Yeah.
In Lord of the Rings?
Or they also have the hair that comes in front and behind the ears.
Yes, so you can always see it.
I noticed that with her that I'm like, I wonder if they did makeup on her ears every single time because they should, just in case it shows. But I love the scenes where they're probably like, oh, good, her hair's in front of her ears. We don't need to worry about it as much.
Yeah, we didn't glue it on right. Just cover it. Just cover
It's okay,
it.
put the hair over it.
Oh, speaking of ears, did anyone notice Amberleigh's ear like cuff earring thing
Yeah.
at that party? I loved it.
Oh,
That's
I
just a
know.
side
The
note.
boys had ear cuffs too.
Really?
Her brother did.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, no,
I
they
noticed
totally
hers
did.
though.
Yeah,
for sure.
or her
the
uncle.
king's son, the uncle.
Yeah, her uncle.
He had it too at the part. Well, he had it later in the meeting and stuff. I thought it was super
I like
cool.
that.
Well,
Absolutely.
if they're not wearing like regular earrings, it's another way to decorate. We have those
love
for
it.
now, sort of.
We do.
It's
I wonder when H&M or whatever is going to come up with some sort of elven ear cup.
Probably soon.
Did you guys see that thing though? In real life, people are getting surgery to make their ears look like that.
I've seen that.
I don't even want to like know that that's happening because
They're really doing it. It's so disturbing and cool at the same time because you're like, no.
Yeah. But it's like a couple years back when people were like filing their teeth to look like vampires. So let's
skip the trends, people. Skip the trends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, let's not do that. But so we have this kind of like right away. There's a lot of like sexual tension.
Yes.
All over the place.
Yes.
Again, it's MTV, so it makes sense, and you want to appeal to like a younger audience. So this is perfectly normal. This is what we expect. Right. But man, they are just working it left and right. There's like. Well, Will and Eritrea definitely have had a little something going on.
That scene where they're like, I was like, they're like leaning in, and
I was like, okay, we're getting into it real quick here.
Yeah, and then not so much.
That was great.
Not so much, but I just thought it was really cool because I'm like, boy, definitely Amberleigh when she meets Eritrea, she knew better because she's like, I don't see a wedding band and this and that, but Will's just
smart.
like, I'm an idiot, and I'm just like, I don't want to say this to your face, but you were. It will get better. It will get better. So we got a little bit of like, chemistry and possibly relationshiping going on, but we'll come back to that one because there's even more later on with some other maybe more unexpected characters. But let's introduce, I guess, in a way, Al-Anon. So the druid.
Yes.
He's by far the coolest thing ever for me.
I think someone has a crush over there.
I really liked him. He was just so cool. I felt like he was just so powerful to me.
Oh yeah, radiated power. He's like, I'm just gonna stand here and be that
That's
cool.
all he has to do.
Yeah. And he just like he woke up from his nap.
Oh, I love
He's
that
looking
snow
good.
nap.
He's the snow nap. It's okay, like cryo, like his druid sleep or whatever.
Sure.
He wakes up, looks fantastic, and he comes to kick some butt. So I can't ask for anything better. What do you guys think?
I think that their swords remind me of lightsabers. Did you guys notice that when they had these swords and all of a sudden it's like a sword?
It pulls out.
Yeah. I thought that was so cool. In this futuristic world, we have very high-tech swords.
Yeah.
Well, in general, the essence of magic remind me of the Force because they're like, they went to the dark magic, the dark side. That's okay. Yeah. Totally cool. I thought he was totally Banff kind of guy. And like, I like the tattoo scarification on his back and his head.
Very cool.
He wants to get it done. And he's a great character that brings up that magic takes a toll on you.
Yes.
Which that's a good thing interesting to insert in this world.
I think that's probably one of those most fascinating concepts because I think given that it is like an elven world and there's all this kind of magic stuff going on, it's funny how it's like there really is no magic left.
Yeah.
But that he's one of the few people who can, and immediately you have like, I don't remember if it was Ander or Arion who was like, oh yeah, show us, prove it to us. And he's like, I'm not going to do that, you know what I'm saying?
I don't do tricks.
Cool for that.
Yeah.
It's too cool.
But it's not like, I don't know, maybe like, forgive my reference, but Harry Potter with like a wand where you're like, you do your thing and it doesn't really take as much of a toll. It's like you can do as many as you want, depending on the spell. But this is literally like when he goes into Paranor, into the Druid complex, and he pulls out that complex, the codex thing. His hands are on fire.
Yeah.
And then his hand is completely scorched.
Yep.
So we get real proof that magic does take a toll on people.
Well, I think it's interesting too to see that, like we mentioned, Harry Potter. I mean, the magic. I mean, they learn how to use it through like their items and through their spells and through these things. But I think in this world, the magic kind of just lives within them. And even though it's gone, they have to like bring it out. I think that's going to be really interesting as we go forward.
Yeah, I think it's really cool because then it's like people won't willy-nilly use magic. It's something you got to think about because like his dad, Will's father, went crazy because he did so much magic. So is it really worth saving everyone at the cost of your own life?
Right.
And Al-Anon even tells Will at one point, closer to the end of the episode, where it's like, it affects people differently. So it might not be that you go crazy. It might be that you have a completely different reaction, but we don't know.
But you don't know until you try.
Is it worth the risk?
Yeah. Exactly. Is it worth the risk? But yeah, it's just a very cool concept of, magic and how they deal with magic in this world. And it's funny that like Will doesn't really believe, I guess, in any of this.
Oh yeah.
But he keeps the elf stone, so I'm like, really, Will? Are you sure? And
Because
then
they're pretty.
because that's why he kept them. And also probably because they're from his dad, you know, and it's like a little.
And his mom, the last thing his mom ever said to him,
Yeah,
was,
and
take these.
he definitely feels some sort of resentment
Right.
for not being able to save her.
Oh, that part.
Remember?
Yes.
and then like, oh God, he and then Al-Anon tells him like, you could have saved her if you only knew how to use the
Stab
magic.
the dagger. I was like, oh,
And he
no.
even, I mean, the first time we see him, the very first moment, he's coming back from a journey that he knew he had something to save his mom, and then the guy was just like, no. It's too late. You get a last conversation, and it's done. And that was kind of a heartbreaking way to introduce the main character, but but you know, I mean, obviously family's very important
what drives him.
Exactly.
You got to cut all those ties that he has to go on this journey.
Yeah. And it's just, he's trying to become like a healer, and all that resentment of not being able to, you know, save his mom and whatnot, I think will really carry him through kind of like this journey as well, because he has the opportunity to save pretty much the four lands, because the Elk Crease is dying, right? And there's only one way to save it, and it has to do with the Chosen. So we're back onto like Amberleigh, and it's gonna fall all on her shoulders, on Al-Anon, and no pressure, girl. Just saying, it's not like the whole world depends on you, but kind of. But yeah, it's just one of the things that I found really interesting about magic is you actually noticed this too, because I saw you jotting it down. It's that Al-Anon and the Dagnamor. So Dagnamor is that orc-like demon that we see with all that the rings in the face.
Let's get close up. I loved all their close-up shots of like, let's show the weird distortion and like,
but it looks
piercing.
awesome.
Oh no, it looks great.
Their
But I
special
love
effects are actually pretty
they
on
look
point
good.
in this
Yeah.
place.
It looked gross. I'm just like, ugh.
And the makeup is like phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's very much like, honestly, Lord of the Rings kind of
Their
level.
outfitters look perfect too.
Yeah.
Like you go, that's really there, and definitely. I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then, so this demon, the Dagnamor, that breaks free from the forbidding
because of the tree.
Because the tree's dying, so then the tree can't keep the forbidding like closing. It can't act as a sentry anymore. This thing escapes, right? And as he like escapes or emerges, whatever, he says the same line of may the magic of this earth course through my veins from this day until my last, or something like that, which is the same thing that Al-Anon says when he wakes up from the sleep, right? So
I was like, whoa, hold up, wait a minute.
Interesting.
Right, I'm like, wait a minute. And
It's
then,
exactly the same
but
thing.
as I was like watching, I'm like, okay, we have dark magic and then we have light magic. So I feel like that's where.
But can they cross over? I mean, we don't really know much about the world yet. Where the demons came from, why they were hiding.
Well, they said he's an
what-
elf, so he was an
So?
elf.
He was
and
an
he
elf,
went to the dark
he was
side.
a druid, yeah.
See,
An
so
elven druid.
perhaps the dark magic lives within
Maybe.
the haughty uncle.
But yeah, you have this kind of like magical presence throughout the whole show, and I guess we don't really know how it works just yet. We've seen like little glimpses here and there, and you know, we'll see how it develops, I guess, in a way. But yeah, onto that Dagnamor thing. So that demon thing is not powerful just yet.
Nope.
Right?
He sends people to do his business for him.
Yeah, and he also kind of tortures in a way Al-Anon through
That
his
was
mind.
cool. I like that.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, is this like in real or what at the complex? But it turns out no, it was through the mind. It's kind of taunting him. Yeah, because he's not powerful enough. But he has that little changeling thing.
Oh, that thing. Oh no, I loved when she showed up. It's like, this form is the one that's most pleasing.
This is what you wanted.
That's why she's naked.
I actually went back and
But she
watched that
looks so
scene
cool.
twice.
Wait, why?
Because I like, first I got to read the subtitles, but I was just like,
Did you see the naked butt? I like the naked butt.
well,
You're like, where'd that come
for
from?
the record, that is not why I went back to go see it, but
And her boobies. You kind of see the boobies.
I know, but it was just an interesting scene because she
yeah.
comes out so beautiful, and then he kisses her, and she's just turned into this
Yeah.
ugly, disgusting like thing, and they're having this whole like conversation, and I had to watch it twice to quite understand it.
I thought she was so cool, and
She was cool.
Okay, shapeshifter leads to the. I love how Al-Anon is like to Will. Go to the princess's room. Get this stuff. Do not tell anybody about your mission. So as soon as he comes back, he tells everybody
course he
what he
does.
found.
Of course.
Which at first I was like, oh, maybe it's just the king. And then I was like, no, there's guards, and then there's the thing in the corner.
And then we have Manx. So
Yes.
that's Eventine, the king's
and the
dog. It's it's his dog.
Sorry, yeah, I was like, oh yeah, the dog.
So,
I was thinking like, oh yeah, the dog.
You're like, no,
and
no,
then
the dog, man.
I love that he doesn't even notice it's not his dog.
No,
I was like, oh,
you
don't
know,
know your pet, sir.
I feel like that changeling is gonna be part of the reason that everything just kind of unravels. I mean, clearly that changeling thing went and killed all the Chosen.
Yep.
So
did it seem like they really put up a fight though? Because when they show the flashback, I kind of was like, they're not. It must be that strong.
Well, that's what I also thought about that Fury thing that comes out at the end. I'm like, how do you fight this thing? Like, this thing is huge.
Will with his little dagger.
He's like, get back. I'm like, bro, you might start wanting to like assess a plan B because this don't look good for you, yo. No. But yeah, it's I mean, I just think these things are so powerful, and that's why it was so important to keep them locked in the Forbidden.
Yes,
of course,
because it'll mean the end of the Four Lands.
Unless our heroes can step up and meet the challenge.
And bring it.
They had a lot of moments in the episode that were like, dun, dun, dun. Like, it happens, and then we both were like, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
But that's great, because you're so invested.
Right.
You're like, this is exciting. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And then, so we have also another relationship that kind of pops up, which is an interesting one, just because of the age difference, I guess, only because she's so much older than him. So Pyrea, which is who Amberleigh goes to see, and who she's been secretly corresponding with, which, like, let me tell you, like, they must really lack security at this place or something, because, like, how do you secretly correspond with someone and no one knows?
Her assistant, like, her handmaiden lady, is, like, the rule breaker.
Yeah, Katanya's up there.
All this stuff.
That's a good point. I feel like she probably, weasels around and does her little thing.
I mean, just to play devil's advocate here, no one believed these stories. Like, so if you don't believe there's danger, like,
who cares?
Exactly. So,
and she just left because she fell in love with a human. It's not like she committed a major crime.
No, but I mean,
loved their little romance, and it was actually kind of really romantic.
It was very nice. It sucks.
Yeah, I love that he's like, you don't know what it meant, and then it's like,
and here comes the Reaper to like
completely
destroy your face. Like, that was pretty.
It's a very brutal show. Actually, it's pretty violent.
That was actually very surprising to me. I was like, wow, he just ripped her to shreds.
Yeah.
Ripped her to shreds.
I expected more, actually. I mean, I
wanted her to fight.
I mean, in full disclosure, Game of Thrones is my favorite show, so you just kind of expect.
Okay, so that's your threshold.
Yeah.
We're not rated R violence. This is PG-13 violence.
I know.
It's PG-14.
Well, it's a good way to do it because they do like the violence, but you don't see it enough. It's more the brutal idea. Like, we don't see her. We don't see the shot of like her neck being ripped open, but we see the thing on top of her, and that is just enough in your brain to be like, oh, ouch, and like, no.
And to be fair, it is cable. I mean, there's only so much you can do, and that's fine. And again, they're playing to a younger audience for sure. Yes. But when I hear fantasy and elves and dwarves, I'm thinking all the. I was like shocked at first, to be honest, when they didn't even have accents.
Well, I guess it's because we've been predisposed from like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings.
When you think of these medieval things, you think of that. But no, once I found out that it was like in the future, it made more sense.
Eritrea kind of has an accent.
She has like a slight accent, and then Eventine, who is played by the awesome Jonathan Rhys Davis, or Rhys Davis, and I don't know how to, but Gimli, he's Gimli, and now we have him here. Like, I'm excited. He's in Indiana Jones. He's just this like awesome guy. Yeah,
Al-Anon in his way has it. Not an accent, but some type of way of talking.
I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. I was just saying I was just surprised.
And then violence, Eritrea, dude, when she gets in like the neck binding thing and kicks the guy in the face, and like that was pretty bloody.
That's pretty bloody. There's some stuff for sure. I mean, it is like MTV. I mean, Teen Wolf has stuff,
Yeah.
So it's in line. But this is a pretty ambitious show.
It's an intense show too.
It's a very intense show, absolutely, for MTV. So it's really cool. And then the executive producer is Jon Favreau. I hope I'm saying all these names right, because now I'm like, because I read them most of the time. So then I'm like, well, so yeah, Johnny.
Let's call him that.
Well, let's call him JF. Sure. He's so that it's gonna come with like people who know how to do big things. So it's clear, it's very evident.
It's pretty epic for an MTV show.
Yeah. And then go for it.
They shot it in New Zealand, which I thought was gorgeous.
Great. That was my next point.
Good.
We have a mind thing here.
Oh, so pretty. You're just like, I want to go there.
I know. It's beautiful, and even with some of the little like in between stuff in the commercials, where I think the girl who plays Amberleigh, so Poppy Drayton, she was like, it's just steeped in all this like Lord of the Rings stuff, and they were talking about that, and she's just like, and when I saw the set, I almost cried because it's just so like amazing, and I would imagine
it comes across that way on TV.
Like New Zealand doesn't even need to advertise advertise. Come here. Just have these movies and shows.
Exactly.
And you're like, no, can I get my ticket now?
Yeah. It's absolutely beautiful. Which like when the show opens, that's like the first thing you see, and I'm like,
gorgeous.
oh, we're so spoiled.
So pretty.
And the effects on that are great too, because
Yes.
it looks, all of the environments look like a real place that have just kind of been expanded.
Yeah,
It's not just like, oh,
absolutely.
special effects, or like, it doesn't look, everybody looks like they're in their environment, which can throw you off on some different other movies and such, where you're just like, are they really there? You know?
I will say, MTV did a really, really good job with their execution, for sure,
Definitely.
on this one.
And kind of to piggyback on what you said, I remember I was just, browsing through Twitter, and Al Gough, who's like one of the creators, he was, I think somebody tweeted at him, there was like this like live tweet of like Ask Shannara or whatever, and they were saying like, was it hard to get to these locations and whatnot? And he's like, no, actually, it was pretty easy to access them, and it was kind of like easy to shoot. And I was like, oh, that's
cool.
interesting, because I mean, it's such a like beautiful, vast land.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm sure there's weather constrictions and whatnot, but it looks amazing. And Terry Brooks approves.
Yeah, I did love his quote that he felt it has the heart of the show.
Oh, good.
Because, or the books, I mean, and because anytime you translate something from a book to a film or a show, there's always going to be things that don't line up. It's not exactly what it was. But I really love that the author is happy about it, because then I'm like, well, then if the author's happy about it, the fans shouldn't complain.
Right. You know what I thought was really, really interesting? I was reading an article, I forget where it was from, but the books were actually released in like the 70s, which I thought was so crazy, because they're pandering to such a younger audience who may or may not have actually read the books. They're not the forefront right now.
Well, I think when they came out, they were popular for the youth of that time.
But the youth of that time are now much older.
So youth of that time, are you watching the show? What do you think of the show?
How old would they be by then? I'm really bad at math.
Probably like 30s, 40s.
30s, 40s?
I'm not even going to
Depends how
try
young
because
you are.
I can't add
I'd say
worth my life.
early to mid 40s, because I know a couple that I'm like, they read it when they we younger for sure. So yeah, fans of, what do you guys think?
Yeah, and then also I think I was telling you this, Karie, that the book that this is based off of is actually the second book, so the Elfstones of Shannara. And the first book, I don't know if it would have been the right choice for like an MTV show, because the protagonist is Shay Elmsford, which is Will's technically grandfather, but in this show it's his father actually.
Oh, okay.
So it would have been like all older people. And when you have an MTV show, you want people who are like your target audience. So like, the 18 to 25 range. So Elfstones of Shannara, which is these younger people going on this quest, on this journey, is perfect.
Yeah.
So I think if they had to choose a book, this was a great one.
But if it's successful, you know what they'll do.
Well,
they'll just have a spin-off. And,
Yeah. And then
it's like another series that started in the middle too. So
yeah, and then there's so many books to go off of anyway. So I mean, there's a lot to build off of, which is really cool. And now I just want to go really, quickly into, so during this episode, they kind of tell you how to save the Elcrease.
yes.
So, and I think Al-Anon kind of goes into it. And so what has to happen is that, like, when the Elcrease is I think dying or whatnot, there's going to be like a flower that blooms and like leaves a little seed, and they have to take the little seed, one of the chosen, the little seed to the blood fire that's in the safe hold, and then from the safe hold, then like bring it back to the sanctuary. So
It's a lot of steps.
It is a lot of steps.
It's a lot of steps. Go.
No, I was gonna say, did anybody else have the visual of them? Like, do you think they literally mean a flower and blooming? Because I thought it could be her, like something in her body that could happen, not
seed?
necessarily something outside.
Do you think that's why there's so many pregnancy
Yes,
babies?
I was annoyed with those too. It's like, okay, the only reason a girl runs away is because she's pregnant. I'm like, what? Like two different people. They're like, you ran away because you're pregnant.
Be
Right?
like, how
You're
far
like,
along are you? She's
Oh,
like,
gosh.
am I
Oh, so
showing?
annoying.
Am
Yeah.
I like, what is this?
No, I actually didn't go that way. I wasn't thinking literally like pregnancy, but
Right.
more just something part of her or something like that. But I mean, it could be outside the tree, but I just had a moment where I was like, I wonder if, because all mythology kind of things, you can't take too literally, because often the characters are like, this is exactly what's going to happen, and then it happens something else, and then that's not what they're ready for.
Well, I would hope so, because I kind of felt like they gave away so much just in the first episode.
Yeah.
Like, we knew right off the bat who, like, the Shannara was, and we knew right off the bat who, like, the savior is, and we know exactly what's happening to the tree, and we know exactly how to save it. Like, I don't know. Hopefully, there's some twists
But
and turns
it's
along the way.
not going to be that easy. It's just
Well, I hope so.
It's not just going to be like, okay, go to Ralph's, get the thing, and then just hot,
like a
hot
recipe for a
bag,
show.
whatever. No, I feel like it's going to be so hard for these people. I mean, it sounds like very simple, but first of all, Al-Anon said they don't even know where the safe hold is.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
He's like, I've traveled everywhere.
He's traveled everywhere. He's read everything because he's a druid, and books and books of things, but he has no idea. And out of all people, I would expect that he knows, or knows at least more than like anybody. But so now what we're gonna do is just to kind of piggyback off of like what would happen and what we think would happen with this journey.
What do you think will happen?
What are some predictions that you guys have for this show?
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
You kick it off.
Well, actually, the way you said it, us knowing who Shannara is and who the Chosen One is, I mean, they might hook up. That is on that preview.
And then the seed.
Literally the seed. But I kind of hope it's not just like she gets pregnant and like that's the thing that's gonna save us.
I don't think this girl's getting pregnant.
No, I hope not. I hope not. I'm like, please no.
Okay.
No, I think obviously they will. I hope like Will and Amberleigh form just more of a friendship. Like I don't necessarily want them to hook up per se. Like that they can do this together and like let's not have it that every relationship with a guy and a girl that they're gonna hook up. Can we just have them go save the world and
I don't know, it is an MTV show.
This is true.
We already.
And actually, I was gonna say if you want to take off your thoughts then.
Heather, why don't you just?
I predict a lot of nakedness.
Yes,
and sex
probably.
and flirting and.
Or threesome, because that was on the trailer-ish almost too, like him going between the two girls.
Oh gosh.
I think I'm gonna let's call it a love triangle.
A love triangle. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They did set up plenty
Threesome
of
sounds
that.
a little dirty.
Wait, now it's a boy with two love interests. Like Twilight, it's the girl, and then there's a bunch of other ones where it's a girl and two boys. So now it's a boy with two ladies.
I know, but like,
I like that.
I feel like when Amberleigh and Al-Anon like look at each other, they're gonna be like, "Sup."
Oh,
Like
Amberleigh and Al-Anon.
I mean, that would be like super cool.
Sure.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. I can dig it. Yeah,
That would be awesome.
Slightly older man. I like it.
He's like the coolest thing ever. Although knowing what we know about him, I guess he can't really. There can be nothing of his relationships. So that's kind of like.
Well, he only left last time because like it was after a war, so it's not really a war right now.
Also,
so maybe
the nap was calling.
I often feel naps calling, but I don't go away for 300 years.
Like, I gotta take off here. I'm really sleepy.
Well, what I would like to see and what I'm hoping to see, since we did have so much revealed, I think the biggest mystery right now is that we don't really know the effects of magic.
Yes.
So I'm really looking forward to see a little bit more, which just brings into the special effects of the show and the relationship with the characters, how people can change the characters themselves. Because right now, Amberleigh's so strong, but what if her magic makes her weak? All these different things. I'm really excited to see that part of it. And some abs is fine too.
Me too. I really want to see where they take. Well,
I thought you were going to say the abs.
I was going for. Well, no, like where the magic goes, because I'd be curious of where they want to take that, because there's just so much possibility. Of
absolutely.
What you
It could
can
be
do with
anything.
That.
Anything.
And it'll be interesting to see Will start and kind of like play around with his magic too, because he is like magic does flow through his veins, in some capacity. So it'll be interesting to see like. What happens with
magic's
him.
a liquid.
Yeah.
There we go.
And I do think there's going to be a love triangle because we already saw that in the previews.
Yeah.
So, and then Amberleigh's going to get jealous and there's going to be all sorts of like, I kick your butt, I kick your butt. And like, I'm going to cut you if you get in my face.
Lots of fighting.
Kind of thing. Yeah. But I do think they're going to go on this kind of journey and they're going to get ambushed and there's going to be all sorts of death because there's no way to have a story like this, I feel like, without that.
It's a pretty epic story.
I feel our characters are going to last a while, though. The main people are going to last. Amberleigh, Will, Eritrea, Al-Anon, we have a nice little list there. Thank you. I feel like they're going to last, of course, because they're like the main ones, but maybe they'll have little sidekicks along the way that probably won't.
Yes. And
if they come in like mid-season, it's like we'll see in a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, don't get attached. They might not be there long.
Yeah, I do feel like they will last a while, but I do think that we're gonna see
somebody's gonna be sacrificed towards the end.
I feel like we're gonna have some sort of sacrificial something.
Yeah.
Someone's got to leave us.
We should as it goes on, we should do a bet of like who's going to die first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's kicking the bucket?
I like this. I totally like this. Anything else to kind of cap it off, ladies?
I love seeing the previews for next time. I was like, I like it. I mean, yes, it's very semi-young adult oriented, but I like it. Like, just take it and
your
enjoy
guilty
it.
pleasure.
Yeah,
I mean.
it's just
Totally.
fun. Enjoy it for what it is.
Definitely.
It's cool and it's fun.
Yes.
And it's young. And it's beautiful.
Yes.
In all
aspects.
And she's gonna say, and the abs. That too.
Well, and the wardrobe and everything.
Yeah, the wardrobe is cool.
Yeah,
It's
everything's
very
nice
kicked
eye
up.
candy.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. All right. Well, where can everybody find you, ladies?
Well, again, you can find me at HeatherGTV on both Twitter and Instagram.
And you can find me at Karie Dean Lane on Twitter and Instagram.
All right, and you can find me, Maria Cavassuto, on Twitter and Instagram at MGCVSST. Don't forget to follow AfterBuzz TV and then hashtag either ATV Shannara. I will double check that for next time because I'm not sure that's our hashtag. But if not, Shannara Chronicles. Join in on the conversation on YouTube. We want to hear from you guys because we like this show and we want to know if you like it, don't like it, what's up, or if any questions come
We will
up.
totally read your comments.
Yes, we
we
totally
will.
do. I'm on that stuff all the time.
Tweet at us too.
Yes, totally. Join
What
in on the conversation.
What questions you have for next time?
Yeah, sounds good. And we will see you next week at a different hour. We're going to be at 7.
Yes.
Correct? Yes.
Yeah.
7.
So, anyway, that's us.
Yay!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.